Galatians episode 2.
Man, moving right along.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up is right. 1 verse 11 through 2 verse 10.
That's right. But we're not going to read it all up front. We're going to do it in sections this time. Last time we talked about the main theme of the whole book is that there's one gospel and you can't change it. So the main theme for this little section is Paul's gospel did not originate from man, nor was it dependent on man, and was ultimately recognized by the other apostles because it came from Christ. So a big question we want to ask ourselves while reading through this and going through this episode is, why should the Galatians trust Paul over anyone else that's trying to tell them, no, we got the truth? So why would Paul be trustworthy?
Yeah, that's good. And you can put yourself in their shoes. It's like, man, they've got these leaders, these teachers. They're presumably, they know what they're talking about. They're in a leadership position or whatever it is. Maybe
older than Paul.
Yeah.
Probably can see better than Paul since he's struggling with being blind.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like, come on, Paul, what you got?
That's right. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. So let's take it to the next level.
Let's fire up that twangy music.
From the hearts of the Low Country in South Carolina,
it's the Take Two podcast, where we take theology to the next level. All right, so I kind of talked about last episode covering, the gospel being distorted. We haven't really got details on how it's being distorted other than Paul was amazed. We talked about how he's writing to these people probably in the province of Galatia, so southern Asia Minor, probably before the Jerusalem Council. And he's really going to be saying, hey, there's no other gospel. We cannot change it. So now we're going to be going Paul's going to give some more of his bona fides. He said at the very beginning, he's an apostle, not from man, not sent by man, not appointed by man. But we're going to even get more than that as we go through this section. So let's read our first 2 verses, Galatians 1, 11 through 12. Can you read that for us?
I got you.
Yeah.
For I would have you know, brethren, that the gospel which was preached by me is not according to man. For I neither received it from man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ.
All right, so you see Paul, he is ultimately going to point to the ultimate authority, Christ himself. He's not going to say, this is my gospel, this is what I believe. He's like, this is from Christ himself. It's not of human invention. It wasn't an apostolic committee that got together that decided. It wasn't a bunch of rabbis. It wasn't like some development in the pre-Socratic philosophers. This is from Christ himself. So it should carry some authority.
Question for you. Yeah. It's a little maybe confusing. You could read this, and he was like, I was never taught it. Does that mean he never learned anything from other Christians?
Yeah. No, I think that is good, because I think we got to separate the main point of what Paul's talking about, the gospel itself, versus all the other things. Clearly, Paul was taught by other conservative Jews, later Christians. He spends time with Peter. We'll see that in 1:18. Interacts with apostles 2 through 10.
We'll see that this episode.
This very episode. So he's not saying that he could never learn. He even is going to say, hey, I just want to make sure that we're in agreement, because he learned. It's kind of mysterious. We don't get a lot of details. He says, I learned directly from Jesus.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? How did that happen? But he still wants to hey, I want to make sure that me and Peter and John and James were all pulling kind of in the same direction. So what Paul is not doing here is it's me. It's only me. Don't listen to anyone else. He's saying it's Christ. It's only Christ. I got it directly from him. So you need to listen to Christ. I'm just a conduit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the very good things about being a Christian is that when you're appealing and saying these things, you're like, man, this is not what I'm saying. I'm looking to the Word of God and these kind of things. Well, let's talk about. I think this part of Galatians is pretty fascinating. It's the behind the scenes, what went on in Paul's life.
Yeah, and can you read 13 through 14? I think you already have Galatians open for us, because in the notes, it's not all that's there. But
I got the good old ESV.
We'll settle for the ESV.
For you've heard of my former life in Judaism, how I persecuted the church of God violently and tried to destroy it. and I was advancing in Judaism beyond many of my own age among my people. So extremely zealous was I for the traditions of my fathers.
Very nice. So we happen to be, I don't think this is a secret, we happen to be looking at pastoral candidates. And if we had a pastoral candidate, for our church, give us his resume, he's like, hey, here's things that I've done in my past. Persecuted the church, violently, approved people being put to death, tried to destroy the church, wanted to advance beyond their contemporaries, extremely zealous for ancestral traditions. Maybe we go, maybe
we'll pass on this one.
Yeah, but we see this throughout. Paul's, in one way, Paul's ashamed of this, but he's not ashamed of it. He's like, look what Christ did in my life. Some places he'll say, I'm the least of the apostles. I'm the chief of sinners because of this. But he's saying it kind of gives him some credibility because he's like, I've been there, I've done that. Then I got the gospel and everything changed. It changed everything.
What a trajectory. You're a physics teacher, It's like almost like a parabola kind of thing. It's like you're going one way and you're going the other way.
Yeah, very good. I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
X squared. We're gonna be talking about objects in a state of free fall under constant acceleration in just a couple of days. So it's very good for all the physics students listening.
Yeah, we got a huge physics population listening.
That's right. Why does Paul include this? Well, he's showing that Christianity was not his natural trajectory. He had no incentive to invent this stuff. But he changed because of God's dramatic intervention on his life. Lord, is that you, Paul? Paul, why do you, kick against the goads? You're persecuting me, not just these people, but you are persecuting me, and just opened up the true gospel to him. So it's not like he's just like in it for the money or anything.
Yeah,
he had a radical transformation.
Such a change, and it goes back to his earlier argument, like, hey, this is from Christ. Like, this is not me because I was not on this path. Maybe another objection would be he just like discarded one religion for another. He's just like musical chairs religion. He just changed.
Yeah, I think that you could, on the surface, argue that. But if you really look into it, Paul's quote unquote new message is really a refinement of the old. There's this idea in both literature and philosophy of thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Where here's what I believe, and then something comes in that kind of disrupts that, and then I find out the real truth by seeing what the disruptor, how it nuances what it was. And I think that's really what's happened here. There is a true truth to Judaism that we've talked about before. Like, it was revealed even in the Abrahamic covenant. Like, you're going to be a blessing to all the nations. That nation's word is the Gentiles. Somehow this gets lost on the Pharisees of the day. And so when this comes in, it shakes up Paul, but really he's going to go back, and this is what we talked about in the last episode, or actually in your episode on that aired just Tuesday before this, the Bereans going and checking, because he's going to use the Old Testament to show this was all talked about. So it really is just a refinement of his misunderstanding of what true Judaism is.
Oh, that's good. Of note, it's like it wasn't like he was picking a new religion to get the easy way out. It
was like Rolodex to the easiest thing, because the easiest thing would be just become a pagan Roman, right?
And instead he chose the path of persecution, suffering, rejection, all of these different things. Those it wasn't like this temporal earthly gain was forefront in his mind.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, Galatians 15 through 17, and I say 15 through 17. Chapter 1, verses 15.
Chapter 1, that's important. But when he who had set me apart before I was born, and who called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son to me, in order that I might preach him among the Gentiles, I did not immediately consult with anyone, nor did I go up to Jerusalem with those who were apostles before me. But I went away into Arabia, and returned again to Damascus.
All right, so a lot of things we see here. Paul says he was set apart, he was called, that was done through grace, and that what he learned was revealed to him by Christ in Arabia. Love to be a fly on the wall.
That would be amazing.
What's going on here? We don't really get any more details than that. We do see some echoes of our Old Testament prophetic language, possible parallels. Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Isaiah, the Lord called me from the womb. So Paul appears to be describing his calling in some prophetic terms that we see harking back to the days of being called and appointed. Samuel called as a prophet. So he's not a self-appointed teacher. He's really kind of pointing his authority to a higher authority.
Yeah, in that same vein, it's not like he was like, I just got away from the distractions. I found God. That, might be like kind of language you might hear today. He's like, and so consistent with everything he's saying is like, man, God called me by his grace. I was doing my own thing, and that totally changed because of what God did.
Yeah. So Paul's independence from Jerusalem. So if you kind of put this chronology together, he's on his road to Damascus to persecute believers there. He's hit with this bright sunlight. He goes there. It's not Gamaliel, but there's another guy. Annas.
Yeah.
Helps him with his eyesight. And then, you still good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. I said crank it, or return.
We just had to reset our audio, so I was just asking. So he goes up to Damascus, then he goes down to Arabia, where he is taught under the tutelage directly from Christ somehow. Goes back up to Damascus, then down to Jerusalem 3 years later, to Syria and to Sicilia. So we see this in Galatians 17 through 24. So do you want to read that for us?
I would love to. Verse 17 says, "Nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia and returned again to Damascus. Then, after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas and remained with him 15 days. But I saw none of the apostles except James, the Lord's brother. And when I'm writing to you before God, I don't lie. Then I went into the regions of Syria and Cilicia, and I was still unknown in person to the churches of Judea that are in Christ. They only were hearing it said, he used to persecute to us is now preaching the faith he once tried to destroy. And they glorified God because of me."
All right, so really potentially random. You might think, Paul,
what's going on?
Why are you giving us your travel itinerary? But I think what Paul is trying to show is he's had limited contact with the apostles. He was tutored independently by Christ. So there's this independent ministry, and the gospel wasn't just merely copied. Now, I think what we're going to see in a few verses is that there was, even though he didn't copy the gospel, there was a cohesion, a coherence of those gospels.
No, that I think you're exactly right. Then we kind of get this 3 years later. Yeah. We're in Jerusalem, and then we see him hanging out with Peter, James, kind of on this 2-week, 15-day hangout with Peter. So question for you, could 15 days that was it he needed with Peter, and then, Paul's entire gospel is just solidified.
Yeah, you would think, especially knowing who Paul is and how fervent he is for things, I think it would take. Would not work to do that. So it's pretty good, solid ground to trust Paul at his word, because he got the gospel from Christ. He's going to sync up, ensure that it marries up. But if he had major issues, I guess time is not necessarily the thing, but he could have, I think everything would sync up. If it didn't, we would know about it. There would be something written about it.
Good point.
All right, so his reputation was spreading throughout this time. So we just read that he who once persecuted us is now preaching the gospel, and they're glorifying God because of him. And so notice the glory goes not to Paul, but to God. All right, so 14 years later, and I've seen some people try to find some mismatches in the timeline, and I've seen people come back and go, no, this all lays out fine. But we're basically talking somewhere around 14 years later, 47-ish. He's going to go back to this Jerusalem meeting, 47, 48-ish.
Great. Do we want to read?
Yes.
Want to go all 10 or just a little bit?
Just read 2:1 right now.
All right. Then after 14 years, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, taking Titus along with me.
So if you remember our first episode, we talked about the Jerusalem Council. If you think that the Jerusalem Council happened before Paul wrote Galatians, this is probably where you're going to put it. If you're like most scholars and you think it happened afterwards, then this is not that time. It's just Paul going back to Jerusalem to visit. So I don't think we have to go through all of those details again, but read 2:2 and 2:3.
I went up because of revelation and set before them, though privately before those who seemed influential, the gospel that I proclaim among the Gentiles, in order to make sure I was not running or had not run in vain. But even Titus, who was with me, was not forced to be circumcised, though he was a Greek.
All right, so very good. So we see Paul finally is talking about, hey, I'm syncing up, making sure that I'm not running in vain. He's been, running this path 14 years. We're not necessarily sure what happened in that
long time.
Short the 3 years afterwards. We just don't have that information. Doesn't give it to us. But he's going to say, hey, I want to make sure I wasn't running in vain. And guess what? Titus, he was a Greek, Christ follower. He was in Jerusalem, surrounded by Jews, and none of the Jews were like, "Oh, and Titus, you need to be circumcised." Mm-hmm. They recognized that the gospel is not the old Mosaic law. This is something new.
Much to Timothy's chagrin. I'm just kidding.
Well, Timothy had a Jewish father, so he is a Jew. So I think they're like, "Hey, just so that you're not being an affront to other people, going to go ahead and circumcise you."
No, it's great. Titus, read a lot about him in 2 Corinthians. Read a lot about Titus. I love. I feel like Titus doesn't get as much love as Timothy. So it's good.
Yeah, I mean, Paul, you wrote one letter to Titus, and then you wrote 2 to Timothy.
Come on, man. Come on. But good. You want us to continue on?
Yeah. Let's read 4 and 5.
Great, here we go. Yet, because of false brothers secretly brought in, who have slipped in to spy out our freedom that we have in Christ Jesus, so that they might bring us into slavery, to them we did not yield in submission even for a moment, so that the truth of the gospel might be preserved for you.
So, Paul, you're going to see him in Philippians saying, for the rich I became rich, for the poor I came poor, to those, that had a whole bunch. You see Paul being flexible in the things that don't really matter, but he's very inflexible when it comes to things.
Again, strong language, like not submit even for a moment.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the gospel, he's very, very personal. All right, so maybe going up to the next section, up through 9.
And from those who seem to be influential, what they were makes no difference to me. God shows no partiality. Those, I say, who seemed influential added nothing to me. On the contrary, when they saw that I had been entrusted with the gospel to the uncircumcised, just as Peter had been entrusted with the gospel to the circumcised, for he who worked through Peter for his apostolic ministry to the circumcised worked also through me for mine to the Gentiles. And when James and Cephas and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given to me, they gave the right hand of fellowship to Barnabas and me, that we should go to the Gentiles and they to the circumcised. Only they asked us to remember the poor, the very thing I was eager to do. I slipped in verse 10 there.
That's all good. So, was right hand of fellowship, was that a big thing for your church?
Oh yeah, that's like that was like a phrase. Yeah, the right hand of fellowship.
Yeah, like as soon as someone was baptized, they're like, all right, everyone from the church will come up and give brother so and so the right hand of fellowship, and there's just this huge line that would go around, and everyone would shake their hand.
Bring it back, man. Bring back the right hand of fellowship.
I mean, Antonio got off easy. He got baptized, and we just prayed for him or something. So. So we see here in this passage, Paul, talking with the pillars and just kind of the division of labor. We see that grace was given to Paul, that they recognized the legitimacy of his ministry. They gave him, as we talked about, the right hand of fellowship. Is that shaking hands? Is that a high five? Probably a dap, where it has to make that sound.
Probably.
That's how the Holy Spirit was in it.
What if that was like the song? That's the baptism of the Spirit, not tongues, but can you get that pop?
That seems like a Babylon Bee. Speaking of Babylon Bee.
That is great.
I need to write that in. I wanted to have ways that you can submit
That's amazing.
That'd be good. There was a recent Babylon Bee that said, all apostles tired of Peter continuously saying, "Can you smell what the rock is cooking?"
That's great. This is a fun fact. I don't know if you know this. The managing editor of Babylon Bee was like my roommate in college, is like older brother.
Are you
Isn't that
for
funny?
real?
Yeah. Like, it's hilarious. Like,
So
and I went to pub.
so we can submit stuff. We have it in.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, but it's kind of funny. Like,
Was he one of the guys that did the videos with you?
No, not one of those guys. Okay. He was like the younger brother of the guy that wanted to be, so a little bit younger than I was. And I don't know where the older brother, where he went to school.
So when we said that the Babylon Bee sometimes goes a little overboard, you're talking about your roommate's brother.
And I really don't know. I don't know that guy. I wasn't like super close to my roommate. It's like it's like pretty funny, like small. I never knew this till after, and I know like Babylon Bees like changed hands. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think it changed, but yeah.
It has changed. I think the guy who started it is now on Not the Bee, so he's primarily doing it. Yeah. So they started up Not the Bee. It was too much. He's like, I want to stay with Not the Bee, so they kind of brought up some leadership for Babylon Bee. But I saw something, we're a little bit on a tangent here, but I saw something that said, the true you is not the post that you like, it's the post that you want to like, but you don't.
Hey, you know?
And there was one of those posts by Babylon Bee today. I was like, this is good, but it's a touch over the line. I cannot publicly put my like on this because I don't want to be... Anyways, back to the issue at hand.
That's right.
So we see this division of labor. Peter is primarily going to be an apostle to the Jews. Paul primarily an apostle to the Gentiles. So it's not two different gospels.
Yeah, that's good to know because it's like, are they different messages, different people? It's like, no.
Same message, one gospel, different audiences. All right, and then they had one final request, which you snuck in, that they would remember the poor. It's like we are already doing that out of our, and he doesn't say this, but you can almost see him saying, out of our love, we're already doing that. You know, I'm adding that in there, but I think he would say that. So, questions: did Paul receive a different gospel from Peter? I think we've answered this multiple times. No. You could go back and look at verses 7 through 9. 1 Corinthians 15 through 11, other places, different mission fields, same gospel. Why did Paul go to Jerusalem if he received the apostle from Christ? For unity. Yeah,
there's something important to be recognized by these apostles. Yeah. If they weren't on the same page, that's bad news, right?
Right. And you would want to know, are you saying something different than me?
Yeah.
No,
right.
No, good. All right, we're all in agreement. So there's confirmation of that. There's fellowship. Why does Paul spend so much time defending himself? Short answer, this is kind of the theme of this episode, is that Paul is, he wasn't one of the original 12.
Yeah.
I happen to think, and I've heard I even asked Greg Kokel this at one time.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they jumped the gun on appointing Matthias? And he was a very strong no when I asked him like 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago.
Yes.
But then I heard him recently say maybe he thinks they were, because there is prophecy about one falling away and another one taking his place. This is simple me. I think Judas falls away and Paul is kind of that natural guy that falls in. Yeah. Nothing to short Matthias or the other guy. they were good guys, clearly. They met all the qualifications. I just think that, and God probably used them in good ways, but I think that the guy that is in that scripture is probably Paul. That's my take on things.
Hey, there you go. I love it. I hope, can't wait, They'll be like, hey, did you catch that?
So you don't think I'm an apostle, huh?
Hey, over here, the guy who doesn't really matter, Michael. Yeah.
But Paul is defending his apostleship because it comes about in a different way than those 12 that spent their time with Jesus. And so you might naturally think, okay, he does need to kind of overcome some of these objections.
Paul, did he invent Christianity? We kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. No, clearly didn't. The gospel came from Christ, recognized by the other apostles. Church glorified God for his transformation. You might say Paul was simply claiming private revelation. Maybe. And maybe he did. But it was tested.
That's right. That's important. Mm-hmm. Great. So do you know how many this series will be? It's TBD.
TBD. TBD. So probably, so we're moving maybe about half a chapter an episode. So 12 episodes.
There you
12
go.
or less. Probably 12 or fewer.
I like it. What are we looking at next time?
All right, so we'll get into the next section. I don't even have it outlined yet, but I could look at my outline in this tab 3. So here we go. You put me on the spot here. Put me on the spot. So episode 3, Paul opposes Peter.
That's a big deal.
The gospel's
we just talked about the unity. Now we got some of this opposition.
Yeah. So we'll be looking at Galatians 11 through 21. So I do have it charted out. I just didn't have it. So I guess I could answer this question. 10 episodes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
By my previous charting out. So what happened, just for the listeners, I charted this out early on, and then I think the government series went longer.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had the couple of Annie episodes on Thursday. We had that revisit to some of the comments on the cults, which we the funny thing listening to that one is we recorded that during FIFA so early, and then it just kept getting bumped for various reasons. And I was saying on that episode, like, oh, this is going to air on this date, and it was like
not even close,
maybe a month or more later. So it's funny listening to that, but it was good overall episode. Yeah,
I love it. Well, the final take. We're talking logos,
mascots, slogans.
Well, I was going to say...
Not just slogans, mottos, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if there's a good corollary for the NFL, but, do you know what the Phoenix Suns NBA team, do you know what their mascot is? Because it's not a sun.
Is it fire?
It is a gorilla.
Gorilla.
So both things that don't make sense, right?
How does that even make sense?
I don't... let's see what the story behind it is. Apparently... It was like one of their halftime bits in the 80s. This guy delivered like a singing telegram in a game. He's wearing a gorilla suit. The fans loved it. It's like, hey, this is our mascot, because you can't have a sun for a mascot. I'm trying to think if there's a couple others like.
I just thought it would be. I guess Phoenix is the name of the city.
Oh yeah. So it
so you
kind of
couldn't
makes
have
sense.
the Phoenix bird. Yeah.
Here's another one. Houston Rockets. Their mascot is a bear. It like the actual. So it's like funny how because you can't do a rocket, you need something that
Well, Alabama's Crimson Tide elephants.
Yeah.
Ever goes back to some comment that a commenter made about the O-line running on the field or something. Well, maybe that's how they got Crimson Tide. I don't know.
LA Lakers. You know what their mascot is?
Was it like a guy, like a stick figure, like flopping on the ground or something?
I opened myself. They're classy. They're one of the few NBA franchises no mascot. There's like historic. The Lakers, we don't do mascots.
I was about to say
because you don't really.
Because all I ever see is like the basketball on the stuff that maybe a basketball and hoop or something.
Do you know what the? Let's see, Boston Celtics mascot, because I don't. Do they have a?
Is it not the fight? Is it not the leprechaun? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I know that's like their. Like, I wonder if they have a guy that dresses up like that. I've never seen one, but maybe it is. Maybe they do.
I almost said Fighting Irish. That's Notre Dame.
But. Yeah, looks the same. Maybe because I wonder because like the West WVU, they have like a guy, like it's not a mass. It's like a man dressed up like a mountaineer. Okay. Like it's not like a costume. Is what I'm saying.
It's like the Patriots. They have their Minutemen.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's something like
that.
Such
a classy organization. And there's none of this mismatch between the name and the mascot. It's all good.
Unbelievable. So we're talking mascots because you got a logo on.
I don't know if you can see this. Maybe I can. I won't remember this, so I hate even saying this. But maybe you can see this online. But yes, Northwood Academy got a new mascot over the summer.
Yeah.
And we used to be just a lightning bolt, kind of a strip of lightning, and we're still the Chargers.
That's right, yeah.
But we adopted this horse logo. It's going to get a name. I think people may have voted on it. I don't know.
That's cool.
The name. Yeah. I hope it's revealed as Bolt. I hope that's his name, but it could be. Yeah. His name could be something else. I think it's going to be maybe revealed at one of the football games. But with that, we don't want to call it a slogan, but we also adopted a motto, which is charged by faith, built for battle.
Nice.
I was like, I don't know about you, but I kind of get a little bit jazzed up about that because for a Christian school, we're charged by faith. What does that mean? We want to, in the classroom, on the court, on the field, over the chessboard,
Yeah.
How do we get charged by faith? But then we're built for battle because the world is, in many respects, a battle. And then they also adopted this verse as our verse. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. That'll preach right there.
That'll preach.
That'll preach in so many scenarios, so many settings. All good. And you'll see that the mane of the horse is still a lightning bolt. So we're not totally, we're still a charger. We still have this idea of a spark. We can still play, the Imagine Dragons, thunder, the thunder, that lightning and the thunder.
I'm comparing it to the Denver Broncos mascot.
Yeah. What do you think?
Honestly, I think ours is better. We have the Chargers one has like gritted teeth.
Yeah.
The Broncos has like an open mouth. I like the gritted teeth better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
that. The Chargers looks like he's sucking wind.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the eye is purple.
Oh, I did not notice.
Yeah. So it's all outlined in green and this dot of purple in the eye, which is really good. I took this logo.
Yeah.
And I guess I can reveal this. I gave this logo to ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I don't change anything about this logo that you don't have to, but make this into a chess piece knight.
Oh, did it look really good?
Looks really good. And I didn't want to send it out. I sent it to Dr. Furrow. And I was like, okay, if this isn't it, that's fine. Because she has like a graphics team. But this is what I'd like to be for our chess team. Approved. So we're going to get new chess gear with this as and that horse looks like he's ready to just rip the hat off a bishop or something. You just don't even know what's going to go on. So
there you go.
Charged up.
It is good because logos and mascots can go the wrong way too. You're like, you don't want to be like disappointed, be like, and it's a good logo. It looks nice. It's like intimidating. Like it's a good,
It could have gone wrong, but it was good. And we were talking, with Charles a couple weeks ago about a whole bunch of Christian schools, All Eagles, Crusaders,
yes.
Swordsmen. What did you say?
So we were the swordsmen.
Yeah. What a wimpy. No, just
I hated the name swordsman.
Oh, you hated it?
Yeah. It just was a weird name.
Did y'all have like swords that you?
Yeah, like we had like all like in our school like armor and like stuff like around that kind of stuff. It's
You have like lightsabers.
From
Star Wars.
Yeah, we could have.
Didn't say what type of swords.
That's right. Yeah. It could have been anything. But yeah, I like it. I need to get. Leanne's got a Charger shirt. I don't know if it's the same one. Is that?
Yeah, we all took a picture today.
Oh, in it.
So Leanne and I presumably were in the same picture. I was seated there, and then like this rush of lower school comes and sits around us, which I kind of feel bad because upper school gets their picture first.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's do a combined picture, and they're like, lower school just kind of ring in around the upper school, and I'm like. Well, the upper school is still like in the dead center of it, and it's I don't know. I almost feel like, but I know for time's sake, they're just like,
so
okay.
Many people. There's how many staff faculty are we working with? It's a big. I know there's a big operation with it being K through 12 and
maybe 5,000. No. I don't know. We all fit on like one, but we were like wall to wall in one section of bleachers.
Yeah.
300? I don't know.
Yeah,
200?
Man, yeah.
100? I don't know. I'm good at equations, not so good at estimating.
Yeah.
If Joel was there, probably 1,500.
I love it. Optimistic. Optimism. That's good. Great. Well, anything else about the Chargers?
Yeah, as this will air after school has started, but as of recording, school starts in 2 days.
Yeah, big time, man.
Gearing up, just kind of finalized my first chapter. Just as intro into science and physics. I really like it. I think I could develop a curriculum that would be good for classrooms. That's how egotistical I am.
Oh, yeah.
But between me and Claude and ChatGPT,
get it done.
We could do something that has a good balance of Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm putting a verse with each one of my lessons. It's like the first lesson, Intro to Physics, was Psalm 19, Romans 1. The next one about measurement was from Isaiah 40, where it says, the Lord has measured the oceans with the
yeah.
palm of his hands and the heavens with the span of something. And then the last one on graphing is about know well the face of your flocks.
There you go. Yeah.
You want your data to be well known. How do we do that through graphing? But to me, and maybe you should say, maybe you would think, well, Michael, you need to think longer about those. But to me, those they didn't even take time. It's it's just so relatable. And I think I'm really I love math.
Yeah.
But it's going to be to me, I'm just really currently jazzed up.
Yeah.
Ask me at Christmas halfway through.
It's going,
I'm so jazzed up. But it's all this stuff just has direct tie-ins.
That's the nice thing. I feel like with physics, there's better object lessons and this kind. You can make it more fun if you can, do some of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I still didn't. I like conceptual physics.
Yeah.
Not just doing all the problems. You know what I mean? But I like the concepts. I think are important.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're going to try to do both. We're going to try to do the concepts and then marry that up with the math behind the concepts. So.
I love it. Well, that's our take.
Thanks for listening to Take Two. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our videocast.